four simple tasks here. How to insert a new sheet next to sales table, rename the sheet, change the color, and how to copy the data from one sheet to another. Right? Again, some basic of Excel. How to insert a new sheet next to sales table. That means you have to insert a table next to sales table. So first of all, open the sales table or any particular sheet which is there in your Excel data set. Now you have to get a new sheet inserted here. So either you can use this plus icon. So whenever you want to insert a new blank sheet in Excel, you have to use this plus icon. Fine, that's the one way. Or you can directly go for this insert tab. Sorry, in the home tab, come to this cells category and use this insert drop down, and it will show to how you can insert a new sheet in your existing workbook. Fine, so here is known as the tool which you can use to insert a new sheet. Now, once you place the mouse pointer over there, the shortcut is defined there, Shift plus F11. So that's the shortcut method. You can insert a new sheet to the existing workbook. Again, I'm not specifying shortcuts here. Why? Because shortcuts are there in your screen only, right? You can just press Alt key and you'll get all the shortcuts in your screen. Just press Alt key and the features are there. Now, if you want to go for this formulas tab, just press M and it will show all other shortcuts in that particular menu option. So I'm not discussing shortcuts here. I prefer to go with the procedures only. Just you have to keep a note of that and which options is there in the menu option. That I'll try to focus that only here. Fine. So that's the first task, right? How to insert a new sheet next to sales table. So that means how to create a new blank sheet. So first of all, click that sheet where you are, in which location you want to create that one, and go for this plus icon. A new sheet get generated here. Fine. So that's the first question. Fine. A new sheet is generated. Fine. Question number 2. Rename the sheet. Now you created a sheet here. Fine. Again, it consists of 16,000 column and that 10 lakh rows. Whatever data is there, number of rows and columns will be there. Now, how to rename this particular sheet? So rename is here. The default name will be sheet 1 or 2. Whatever the name will be defined in that format only. If you want to rename your sheet, select that sheet tab, go for the right click option, and this option is called pop-up option. When you go for right click in your interface and when you get some different features, for example, when you select any particular cell and go for right click there, again, this option is called, or this menu is known as pop-up menu. In the same way, when you select any sheet tab, go for the right click option there and go for, from this pop-up option, select rename. Either you can use this option or double click the tab here. Fine. So your cursor will be active in the sheet tab now. Now give a name for that sheet, that is age wise revenue. So either you can use right click or go for double click in this particular sheet tab. The cursor will be activated and you can type the content there. Fine. So that's how you can rename the sheet. Fine. So how to insert a new sheet in your existing workbook and how to rename the sheet. So 2 simple tasks defined in this worksheet. Third one, change the color. Fine. So that means you are going to change or apply a simple color for this worksheet. Worksheet means I'm not going to apply color for this area. I'm giving a specific color for my sheet tab only. Right. So go for right click once again. From this tab color, you can get a palette of colors, or your palette of features will be there. Palette will be there. You can select any particular and accordingly the color will be activated there. Fine. So that's how you can rename the sheet, add the sheet and change the color for that one. Now the fourth one, copy the sales table sheet to the new workbook. Now here the task is again something different here. You have to copy all the data from your sales table. Fine. Okay, a real corporate data is there. Let me use control right arrow. Fine. So the number of columns are up to n column. Fine. Control down arrow. So almost 34,000 data are there. Right. So good defined corporate data is there. Fine. Okay. Now you have to copy all this information to a new workbook. Again, let me highlight that word here. Copy the sales table sheet to the new workbook. That means you have to copy all these information and paste it to a different workbook. So that means you have to open a new Excel file and copy all that information in that newly defined workbook. Now, let me give some more important knowledge here. Excel is also known as a spreadsheet program, or it is also known as workbook. So whenever you open an Excel file, it is also defined as workbook. And in a workbook, there are different sheets or worksheets. So that means these are also defined as sheet or worksheet. So workbook consists of worksheets. Fine. Okay. So here the question is, you have to copy all the informations in the sales table, whatever data is there, copy all this information and paste whole information in a new workbook. That means open a new Excel sheet and copy all this information there. So never try or never go with some manual process here. Don't insert a new workbook here. Instead of that, go for the right click in the sales table. From this pop-up option, select the feature move or copy. And using this feature, you can copy all your information from one sheet to another workbook. Fine. So click this option move or copy. So it will give another dialog box for you. Now this dialog box we have to configure. Now what's our requirement here? We have to copy the sales table, right? So select the sheet which you have to copy. Fine. Now next requirement is you have to create a copy for this sheet. So click the option create a copy. Fine. Now don't click OK here. Why? Because if you hit this OK button, you will get a duplicate sheet in this workbook only, and that not our requirement here. The requirement is copy this whole information in a new workbook. That means a new Excel file. So don't click OK here. Instead of that, use this drop down and go for the option new workbook. That's all. Now connect all these procedure in a simple English statement. Select the sheet which has to be copied. Make this check option enabled, which indicates that the copy has to be created for that particular sheet only, and where it has to be placed into a new workbook. So just connect all these points and hit this OK button. So once I click OK, you can notice the changes occurred in my Excel sheet now. So just wait. Let me click this OK button. Here it is. Now I hit this OK button. Now a new workbook is open where only the sales table is present. All other sheets are not here. So that means you created a copy of the sales table into a new workbook. Now this is a new Excel workbook. If you minimize this one, your original data set or original file will be here only. So that's how you can copy from one sheet to another workbook. Right. So another method is there, right? You can use that one also. Open a blank Excel file, Control A, Control C, and Control V. Instead of that, use this method so that you can cut short your procedure, right? Directly insert your data in a different location without giving too much of going through lengthy process. You can go for data insertion. Fine. So there's some simple tasks. I think you can get how to insert a new sheet, how to rename, change the color, and how to copy data from one sheet to another workbook. These are the 4 simple tasks. I think you can easily connect. Fine. So any questions you have, we'll discuss later. Huh? Fine. Now, few more simple tools in your Excel sheet. Now, these are not procedures. These are the tools which you have to know the rules, know the procedure, how to use these tools in your Excel sheet. And the first important tool is Format Painter. Now, this tool is common for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or whatever tools you use. That's common, right? Format Painter is common for all these tools, all these softwares here.